Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy, and I hope that you are ready for today's lesson, which will be form, meaning, and function. But before that, let's revise our previous lesson, which was the writing. If you remember, we took the article, the charging your cell phone can get you in trouble. And we asked, who do you think this person is? What is he doing in the picture? Where do you think he is? Of course, we read the article about the burglar who broke into a house, and then when he heard someone getting inside, he immediately jumped out of the window, forgetting his phone charging. And then the police found the phone and called one of his contacts and staged up a story that he was in an accident. Then they got the whole information about him. Then they arrested him and charged him with previous 12 burglaries. This is the article that I was talking about. Of course, we took the writing corner to when you write an article or a story, open with an account of an event that happened recently, open with a line that gets the reader's attention. If you remember the article that I was just talking about, it began with that a burglar was arrested. So you want to continue reading to find out how was he arrested, why did he get arrested, what did the police do, what did the burglar do, and so. So always in the first line or the first few lines, try to write some sentences to get the attention of the reader. And always use some markers, time markers, to help the reader follow the order of the events, like before or later that day, soon after, when, or while. So this is the objectives for today: to rephrase a present simple sentence into a past simple tense. Use the correct verb to be in the simple past tense. Use regular verbs in the simple past tense. Also use irregular verbs, regular and irregular verbs in the simple past tense. Use used to with the past tense. So we'll be focusing on the past tense today and the used to. So let's begin here with the simple past tense be. The simple past tense be, the verb to be. Of course, the simple past for be, we have was or were. Here are a few examples. How were the burglars caught? Were with the plural, of course. How were the burglars caught? There were security cameras everywhere. Was the pickpocket sorry for his crime? Was with a singular, of course you know that. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He apologized to the victim. We use the simple past, the simple past of be to talk about a past situation rather than an action or an event. To talk about a situation, not an action itself, not an event. We always use the simple past of be, of course meaning was or were, to talk about a past situation rather than an action. For example, when you said, I was sleepy, I was hungry, this is not an action, it's a situation. You're not doing something, you just felt sleepy. I was sleepy, I was hungry, and etc. The second part here, the simple past tense, regular and irregular verbs. So please focus here because a lot of people mistake here in this area. What did the police do? What did the police do? They arrested the criminal. They didn't arrest the man. Again, they arrested the criminal. The second answer, they didn't arrest the man. Where did they go after they were arrested? They went to the police station. They didn't go to the police station. And you can notice here the verb go in the question and in the answer is not in the past tense. Why? Because there's the word did before it. The verb did before it. If any past tense verb comes after the verb did, you put it in the present form. So this is the past tense here, the verbs in the past tense. We have two two ways of writing them and reading them: regular and irregular verbs. The past tense verbs, we have regular and irregular verbs. Let's take first the regular. The regular verbs are the verbs when you want to make them into a past, you just add ed. You just add ed. For example, look and looked. Look and looked. Again, the past tense has two kinds, regular and irregular. The regular, from the word itself, regular, there's nothing unusual here. Just add ed to the verb. Of course, there are some special cases, like for example, if the verb is ending with a y, you remove the y and put ied. Let's go to the irregular part here. We have two kinds of irregular. So now we know the regular, just add ed with some expectations, of course. But the irregular part, whether the verb stays as it is, the verb put, the past tense of it is put. Another example is cut. The past tense of it is cut. Also spread. The past tense is spread, and like that. So the irregular, we have the first part where the verb doesn't change at all. You don't put any letters in, and you don't remove any letters, just as it is. The second part of the irregular verbs, where you change the whole verb. Like for example, go is went. We didn't add ed. We changed the whole word. The whole word. Go is went. So can you give me more examples of the regular and irregular verbs? I will give you some examples here. As it's read here, look and looked, like, liked, like, liked. And you notice here, if the verb is ending with the letter E, if it's ending with E, we don't add another E, just add the D. For example, here the verb like, we added just the letter D. And want, wanted, want, wanted. What about the irregular here? Can you give me some examples for the irregular? Okay, I will give you some. Cut, cut, as I told you before, we don't change anything. Eat, ate, we change the order of the letters. Eat, ate, and speak, spoke. So we don't add ed, we change the whole verb. Cut, cut, as I said, the irregular, you don't change anything or you change the whole thing. Cut, cut, eat, ate, speak, or spoke. So this is the regular and irregular verbs from the past tense. You can find them at the end of your book, the irregular verbs. Time expressions for the past. Time expressions for the past. You will read some sentences here where there's an expression. Once you read it, you know he's talking about the past. For example, the first one, the armed robber stole a car yesterday. Yesterday. If you remove the word yesterday, the armed robber stole a car, you wouldn't know when. So we added the time expression yesterday. So this is a time expression from the term itself. Natalie forgot to lock the door last night. Last night. It tells you exactly when the event happened. The burglar went to jail in 2006. Again, it pinpoints the exact time of the event happening. I went to Oman 3 years ago. It tells us that it's past. I went to Oman 3 years ago. Here's a question for you. When you were younger, what were you afraid of? When you were young, of course, you were afraid of many things. Just give me one example. When you were younger, what were you afraid of? Here's an example of mine. When I was younger, I was afraid of the dark. But of course, now I'm not. So, when I was younger, I was afraid of the dark, but now I'm not. So, I used to be afraid of the dark, which is our lesson here. the past with used to and would. We use used to plus be. Used to be. Used to be. Here, be is the word be itself. We used to be to talk about past states that are no longer true. To talk about past states, like me being afraid of the dark, that are no longer true, that they are not happening now. Like when I said, I used to be afraid of the dark, but no, now I am not. For example, I used to be a student. When I say I used to be a student, but now I'm a teacher. So you use used to and be to talk about past states, things that are going on with you, not an action. For example, what did you used to be afraid of when you were younger? So this is the question form of using used to be. What did, of course, you're talking about the past here. What did? What did you used to be afraid of when you were younger? I used to be afraid of elevators. I used to be afraid. I used to be afraid of elevators. I always took the stairs instead. So used to be, and then you put the state afraid of elevators. I always took the stairs instead. The second part, we use used to plus the verb. Used to and the verb. So when do we use that? Oh, and would plus the verb to talk about past habits that are no longer true. Again, we use used to plus the verb and would plus the verb to talk about past habits that are no longer true. So past habits, which means action, which means things that you did in the past. So you use used to plus the verb or would plus the verb. Let's take some examples here. Did you used to travel a lot in your job? Did you used to travel? So he's asking about a verb here, traveling. Did you used to travel a lot in your job? Yes, I used to or would travel to any new place every year. Or you can say, I didn't used to like it much and now I prefer to stay in one place. Again, this is the answer of the question. Yes, I used to or would travel to a new place every year. I used to travel. When you say I used to travel, it means now you're not traveling anymore. He said, I didn't used to like it much, but now I prefer to stay in one place. So I used to like traveling, but now I don't. We can substitute used to for would. As the example before, we can change them. When we talk about past habits, but not when we talk about past states. If you're talking about habits, you can choose either used to or would. If it's a habit, an action, something that you did. But if you're talking about states, you can't put would. You only use used to. So let's answer these questions here. Complete the conversation. Use the past tense of the verbs in the parenthesis. Then practice with a partner. So we'll just put the past tense of the verbs in these brackets. Fahad, what happened to you yesterday? The verb happen. Yes, happened. A regular verb, just added the ed. Imad, I go. What's the past tense of go? Yes, this is a very easy one. An irregular verb here. I went to the Falcons football game and a pickpocket steal my wallet. Steal. Is it regular or irregular? Yes. Stole my wallet. It's an irregular verb. Excellent. Fahad, oh no. Do you call the police? So the verb do. What's the past tense of do? Very good. It's did, which makes it an irregular verb. Imad, yes. And they catch the thief. Thief here, of course, he's referring to the criminal, the pickpocket. Again, yes, and they catch the thief. So the verb catch. Yes, caught. They caught the thief. Of course, here it's an irregular verb. Fahad, that's great. How do they catch him? The verb do here. How do they catch him? Yes, as previously mentioned, how did they catch him? Imad, there be security cameras everywhere. B, yes, there were security cameras, plural cameras. That's why we chose were instead of was, because the plural here, cameras. There were security cameras everywhere. If there was just one camera, we will say there was. But because there are many cameras in plural, we said there were. The second question here, work with a partner, ask and answer about how Umar's life has changed. Use used to and didn't used to. So for example here, how often did Umar used to watch crime dramas on TV? How often did Umar used to watch? We know he watched previous TV dramas. How often did Umar used to watch crime dramas on TV? He used to watch crime dramas on TV every day. And remember, the verb that comes after used to is the base form. Used to watch, the base form. Crime dramas on every day. He didn't used to do anything else. So the first one here, Umar watched TV every day. Now he goes to the gym. Umar watched, past tense here, watched TV every day. We know that in his past he watched TV a lot. Now he goes to the gym. So now we have information. What did he used to do and what is he doing now? So give me like this a question and an answer. Give me a question and an answer. The first one, again, Umar watched TV every day. Now he goes to the gym. Yes, excellent. The question is, what did Umar used to do every day? What did Umar used to do every day? You say he used to or would, because we're talking about a habit here. He used to or would watch TV every day. Then you continue, he didn't used to go to the gym. He didn't used to go to the gym because we know that now he's going to the gym, not in his past. The second one, Umar ate a lot of junk food. Now he eats fruit instead. Same as the question before. We know something about someone's history. What did he do in the past and what's he doing now? Again, Umar ate a lot of junk food in his past. Now he eats fruit instead. So give me, just like the previous question here, give me a question and an answer. Give me a question and an answer. Yes, that's great. The question is, what did Umar used to eat? Because here we're talking about what is Umar eating. Because here we're talking about what was he eating? Junk food and fruits. So this is why we're asking, what did Umar used to eat? The answer is, he used to or would eat a lot of junk food. He didn't used to eat fruit. Again, he used to or would eat a lot of junk food. He didn't used to eat fruit. The third one, Umar was overweight. Now he isn't. Umar was overweight. Now he isn't. Now he is slim. So we're talking about his body image here. So how do we ask and answer about this matter here? Umar was overweight. Now he isn't. Very good. What did Umar used to look like? Look like. Asking for his shape, his image. What did Umar used to look like? The answer is, Umar used to be overweight. Used to be. We're talking about a state here. That's why we don't put would. When talking about a state, we don't use would. We only use used to. Again, Umar used to be overweight. He didn't used to be slim. He used to be overweight. He didn't used to be slim. continuing here, Umar was always tired. Now he has more energy. So we're talking about his shape, his strength here. Umar was always tired before. This is in the past. Now, because he's exercising maybe, he has more energy. So give me a question and answer using used to or would. Very good. How did Umar used to feel? So tired and more energy are feelings. I feel tired. I feel energized. So these are feelings. How did Umar used to feel? The answer here, Umar used to always feel tired in the past. But now, talking about the present, he didn't used to have much energy. He didn't used to have much energy. Number 5, Umar didn't sleep well at night. Now he sleeps more soundly. Talking about his sleeping. Talking about his sleeping. We say, how did Umar used to sleep? You say, Umar didn't used to sleep well. He used to be awake most of the time or the night, or have insomnia. Or he used to have insomnia, where you stay up all night. The past progressive, let's talk about the past progressive here. We use the past progressive when we describe what was happening at a specific time in the past. We use the past progressive as it says here. We use the past progressive when we describe what was happening. So it's a description of what was happening in the past at a specific time. Here are some examples. What were you doing at 3 o'clock today? I was driving. Always the progressive ing. Ing always comes with the progressive. I was driving home from work. So you are describing what were you doing in the past, what was in progress at a specific time in the past. We use the past progressive when we talk about a temporary state or an action. Of course, the form of the past progressive is the past tense of was or were, the verb to be, which is was or were. Then we put the verb with the ing. You can see here, I was driving. This is the past progressive. Was or were, then the verb with the ing. Again, we use the past progressive when we talk about a temporary state or an action. This is another use for the past progressive. Let's take an example here. Have you always lived in Riyadh? Have you always lived in Riyadh? No. A few years ago, I was living in Dubai. Again, no. A few years ago, I was living in Dubai. So this is talking about a temporary state or action. Of course, this is a state. I was living in Riyadh, in Dubai. It was temporary. Then I came back to Riyadh. Another question. What were you doing in Dubai? What were you doing in Dubai? I was working at a hotel. This is a past action. So this is a past action. I was working at a hotel. So this is the past progressive. Continuing with the past progressive here also, we use the past progressive with always to describe a repeated or annoying action. We use always to describe an annoying action. You're always doing this. You're always doing that. You feel annoyed from him. My neighbor's son was always getting into trouble when he was younger. Again, my neighbor's son was always getting into trouble when he was younger. So this is an annoyance from someone. When you're annoyed from someone, you tell him, you were always doing that to me. You say that with annoyance. Another use here, we use the past progressive to describe a long action that is interpreted by a short action. So we have two actions. We have two actions that are interpreted. One interpreted the other, interrupted the other. I was working on my computer when suddenly the power went out. So the first action interrupted the second action. I was working in my computer. This is the first action. I was working. And the power going out. This is the action that interrupted the past progressive. This is the action that interrupted me using my computer. Again, I was working on my computer when suddenly the power went out. So this is the use of the past progressive describing a long action, me using my computer for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, interrupted by a short action, which was the power going out. We use the past progressive to describe two actions that were happening at the same time. If we have two actions happening at the same time simultaneously, we use the past progressive. While I was studying, my brother was watching TV. Of course, we always use the word while. While I was doing this, my father was doing that. While I was sleeping, my brother was studying, etc. Again, while I was studying, my brother was watching TV. So if you have two actions in the past that happened simultaneously at the same time, you use the past progressive with the word while. While I was studying, my brother was playing. So let's take some exercise here. Read the interview between the policeman and Mr. John Wilkinson. Complete the paragraphs with the simple past tense or the past progressive from the verb in the parenthesis. This is a conversation between the policeman and John. What were you doing? The first one is done for you. At 3 p.m. yesterday, Mr. Wilkinson. John, I be in the supermarket. I buy milk. So be here. Yes, I was in the supermarket. I, and the verb buy here. I was buying milk because this is in the past and it was taking time. I was buying milk. Who you with at that time? And the verb shop. Very good. Who were you shopping with at that time? Who were with you? John, I with anyone. I was alone. So this tells you how to answer. I was alone. Yes, I wasn't shopping with anyone because he said here I was alone. Sometimes you want to figure out an answer, just check the last of the sentence. Policeman, at 3 p.m. a security guard saw you outside ski and snow store. You, very good, you were parking your car. Is that true, Mr. Wilkinson? Oh yes, that's right. At 3 p.m. I, and the verb park, my car. Yes, it's the same thing. I was parking my car. But I, and the verb go to the ski snow resort, store to buy a ski mask. So I, very good. I didn't go to the ski store to the ski and snow store to buy a ski mask. I go to the supermarket. Yes, this is very obvious. I went to the supermarket. The policeman said, what you buy at the supermarket, Mr. Wilkinson? Yes, what did you buy at the supermarket, Mr. Wilkinson? He said, I was buying some cheese. Very good. The policeman, why you, and the verb take the license plate of your car. Very good. Why did you take the license plate of your car when you were parked next to the snow and ski resort, Mr. Wilkinson? John said, I don't know. The policeman, why? Very good. Why did you say that you, excellent, weren't buying a ski mask at the snow and ski shop, Mr. Wilkinson? He said, I didn't say that. I said that I meant, so he was hesitating. The policeman said, very good. Did you rob the Staten Drug Store yesterday, Mr. Wilkinson? That's the end of the story here. And the last question here, with a partner, discuss if you think that Mr. John Wilkinson is guilty or innocent. Give some reasons why based on the interview and the exercise C. And with that, we reach the end of the lesson. Thank you for listening. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.